pick for the evening. Glad that there's been a lot of requests to resume our YouTube channel. As I walk through, I'm looking to see what cigar I'm going to pick. And I think I know what I'm going to go with today. I'm going to move past some of these sections here. Get over through some of this True Estate and Liga. Over, we got our Olivas here, Milanos, some limited editions. Into our Merit Fell, some Sans Pere, little Padron. Over into this corner here in the humidor, we got our Camacho Avo and our Davidoff. We've got these nice new products that have come in. Not that new, but our Ferio Tego 2024 limited releases. We've got some more of our Churchill Davidoff limited editions left, but I think the cigar I'm going to smoke tonight is going to be right in here, the Davidoff Late Hour. So let's head over and begin to check this thing out. How's it going out there? This is Aaron coming back to you from OSI Tobacco, Spider Monkey Cigar. I'm sitting here at OSI's back patio. We've got the fire pit going. Got the fireplace going on behind me as well. Waited till evening to do this video tonight. Still a little warm in the days, cools down at the nighttime. We're reaching that season where the fire pits are perfect for a cigar and a drink. And I'm back to you on this YouTube channel because there's been a lot of requests for me to continue doing this series and highlighting a number of cigars in our humidor. And so tonight I am with you. I'll show you in a little bit, walking through and selecting the cigar toward the end of the video. But tonight I'm walking you through the Davidoff Winston Churchill Late Hour. Delicious cigar, and I've got with me, I won't say which brand, but a 13-year age Speyside single malt Scotch. Delicious. I've already started this cigar. I'm only about maybe a half to 3/4 inches through. But it's delicious from the start. This cigar starts with flavors. You taste some coffee, taste a little bit of leather, a little bit of spice, not as strong as I've heard others suggest they taste. All of our palates are a little bit different. When you smell the cigar, even before you light it up, smells delicious. One of the things unique about the Late Hour, not only is it fermented darker than the regular Churchill, you've got, within the filler blend, you have tobaccos from Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. But one of the things unique about the Late Hour that they do is that the Visas tobacco from Condega in Nicaragua is fermented in single malt Scotch casks. And so for about 6 months, the fermentation process will take place in a cask that was used to ferment Scotch. And so they press the tobacco in. And as you do in the fermenting process with tobacco, you're typically every now and then periodically, you're flipping the tobacco to make sure that there's even fermentation. In the case of Davidoff, with this filler leaf from Nicaragua, they do that about every 2 weeks. They'll flip the tobacco over and then put it back in the cask, make sure it's fermenting evenly. They keep an eye on the temperature so it doesn't get too hot during the fermentation process. I'm pairing it tonight with a single malt Scotch. I know when I was down in the Dominican with both the head of the Davidoff factory as well as, who I would consider the master blender, Pedro. Yeah, he really enjoyed pairing pairing the cigar with Spanish rum. We were down there, a number of us retailers, when they released the Petite Panatella size of the Davidoff Winston Churchill late hour, and we had it with rum. Delicious. Tonight I decided to do it with a single malt scotch. You might notice some of the clothing I have on tonight. I've got my shooting jacket on. It's an Orvis thorn-proof tweed. Those who know. Rick, I keep waiting. I keep expecting every time I come here to the patios at OSI, I keep hoping Rick's going to take me down to shoot trap with him. Hoping today that maybe he'd take me down. Didn't. But at this point, I've moved well into the second third of this cigar, the Davidoff Winston Churchill late hour, and it starts to transition a little bit already. Start to get a little bit of creaminess. The taste of leather I had in the first third continues. It's sort of a little bit of an undertone in the cigar. You start to get some chocolatiness here, um, in addition to that creaminess. Still a delicious smoke, perfect for the evening as the sun is pretty much fully set at this point here at OSI. Well constructed, keeping a nice long ash here. A couple questions for you guys. Excuse me, as we continue this series. Um, what are some of the things you want to see happen in this series? When I ask that question, we take a sip here. Number of questions for viewers. One is some suggestions from your end. What are some cigars you'd like to see me feature in this series? If you have particular cigars you'd like me to smoke through, discuss, unpacking sort of, where and what type of tobaccos the filler tobacco's from. Binders, sometimes they change, but often it's similar to this one where it's a Mexican San Andreas. Notes on the wrapper leaf, some of the flavors. Let me know what kind of cigars you'd like me to feature here on this channel. Also, who would you like to see on the channel? We're naturally already going to introduce some people here with us at OSI. Matt will be with me here in some of these videos. We may have a few key customers that show up to smoke together with me and discuss what kind of topics you think we should cover at various points in time here on this channel. And then in terms of brands and personalities, which brand owners would you like to see in these videos? We can bring in owners from pretty much any cigar manufacturer. We can bring in reps. Let us know what you'd like to see. In addition to giving us suggestions, let us know whether it's here on YouTube or whether it's on our social media. What are some of your favorite sticks? In particular, this week, as I'm walking through this Davidoff, what are some of your favorite Davidoffs that you like to smoke? And speaking of Davidoff, we here at OSI, we are the only fully Davidoff appointed merchant in Stark County, Ohio. As I smoke this, I'm mindful that the new limited edition has been sent out to us. And so we've got the Chef Edition back. A number of you have loved the last rendition of the Chef Edition from Davidoff. Those should be arriving sometime this week. We're going to do some special things with the Chef Edition. But, let us know your thoughts, some things you'd like to see as I continue to smoke my way through this delicious cigar as evening continues to set in, as the weather starts to cool. where what I've got on here today isn't quite as warm as it was a little bit ago, and we will talk more about this cigar. I'm now pretty far into the final third of the cigar, and you might not be able to see across the fire, but the band is now off. You might notice that my surroundings are quite a bit darker. It takes a while to walk through a video like this, smoking an entire cigar. One of the things you haven't noticed that I've had to fill this rocks glass with scotch a couple times at this point. But this scotch from the space side of Scotland is a single malt, is still delicious. Uh, you might have noticed as well that I've been comparing my palate, what I taste in this versus what Davidoff suggests you get in terms of flavor with each third, and it's been pretty close. I highlighted that the leather that you're to taste in the first, and second, third is more of a, for me anyway, maybe not for you, is more of an undertone of flavor. As I reach this final third, and I'm into the final third, one of the things that stands out to me, they highlight you taste a little malt. Yeah, for those of you who know us, we are those who've been craft brewers since 2012. Matter of fact, we were the first craft beer on the market in Stark County, 2012, with our Orange Barrel Ale. So I definitely taste that maltiness they talk about as you reach this final third. I also taste a little bit of that black pepper. In the first third, they talk about fresh spices, which I could taste a little bit there. The black pepper is now a little bit more pronounced. They also highlight in this final third that you get a little taste of oakiness. To be honest, I've tasted a little bit of that oakiness throughout. It's a little more pronounced now. It's not surprising that I've picked up some oakiness throughout the cigar, given that one of the filler leaves, the Nicaraguan Condega, is fermented during its process for 6 months, as I highlighted earlier. Inside the Scotch oak barrels, um, but again, delicious cigar. When it comes to a evening cigar, post dinner, or even later in the evening, is now it's reached a point where it's pretty much without the fire in front of me and behind me. There's some lights, from inside. It's pretty much pitch black. I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight, where we are. OSI Tobacco is located in Stark County, Ohio. In particular, though, we're located in Oakwood Square, and we have been huge fans of being here in Oakwood Square. The concert season's over, but from late May through the end of August, there's a really nice amphitheater in our plaza here. Seats, I think it's around 2,500. I could be a little off, but the concerts with bands who are mostly cover bands for well-known artists. Oakwood Square in Plain Township brings in the best cover bands you can find anywhere. It's an incredible concert season, mostly on Thursday evenings. As a matter of fact, this season was entirely on Thursday evenings, except for the final concert, which was free last week, which was on a Friday evening. It was a U2 cover band. Fantastic. But here at Oakwood Square in Plain Township, you have great restaurants right next door to us. We have Talaki Paki on one side, great Mexican food. The other side of us, Giannino's, one of the finest pizza places where you can get pizza, chicken, JoJo's, my personal favorite is their baked mac and cheese bowls. We have the Bistro of Oakwood, delicious high-end food. You've got, all sorts of delicious food from the Bistro. You've got one of Canton and Stark County's classics. You got John's Bar and Grill here. You have, on the other side of us, the Genio side of us, you have a great Italian place, Bugsy's. Yeah, we've got a drug mart here. Drug Mart's Drug Mart, but it's a great place for people who are local. We have Brutifully, which is an incredible art store. We've got, on the Talakipaki side of us, we've got Bird's Nest, great place for both ladies and guys to shop for unique things to buy. We have as well, we've got Samantha's, which is a place, most people know them for breakfast, but they have great lunch, great dinner as well. And quite frankly, they've got, I think it's underrated. I think it's underpromoted. They've got one of the finer bourbon selections for evening here at Samantha's at Oakwood Square. But it's not just Samantha's. They have Pav's Creamery within Samantha's as well. Delicious ice cream. Matter of fact, one of my wife and I's favorite is their biscotti bar. That's unique to them. Delicious ice cream. Half of it has no chocolate on it. The other half it has a little frozen chocolate layer on top, biscotti bottom, a little popsicle stick out the end. Absolutely delicious. So as you watch this video, not only do I encourage you to try any Davidoff, but in particular the one I've smoked this evening, the Davidoff Winston Churchill Late Hour. But I encourage you to come out, check us out at Oakwood Square. Check us out here at OSI Tobacco. We are the largest walk-in cigar humidor in the Midwest. But also come out to check out all the other things that Oakwood Square has to offer as well. Thank you for joining me for this video. I hope you join me for more to come. And I got to give a special shout out. Let me smoke a little here. And take a little splash of scotch. A shout out to many of you who've encouraged me to not only restart but continue, and we will have at least 2 of these videos every week uploaded to YouTube and then shared on our social media. But a special shout out to one of our members, Travis, who has gotten on my case multiple times, week after week after week. He's like, Aaron, where's the YouTube videos? We need the YouTube videos. So our YouTube videos are here to stay. They'll be at least uploaded twice a week. Many times it'll be 3 or 4 times a week. But again, come out, check out the plaza, check us out here at OSI Tobacco. If you haven't ever yet, you've got to pick up a Davidoff Winston Churchill Late Hour. You can smoke it any time of day, but after dinner toward the evening, when Winston Churchill himself acknowledged he did his best thinking, writing, reflecting, smoke it in the evening, enjoy it thoroughly, one of the finest cigars you'll ever have.